Michael B. Jordan, the chiseled embodiment of modern Hollywood heroism, from the sweat-drenched streets of Creed to the cosmic battles of Black Panther, has always carried an undercurrent of authenticity that sets him apart. In a recent soul-bearing interview, Jordan peeled back layers of his public persona to reveal a deeply personal reckoning, one triggered by his immersion in the raw, unflinching narrative of Sinners, a film that transplants him to the sun-baked terror of 1932 Mississippi amid the Jim Crow South. What began as a professional dive into historical fiction unearthed something far more intimate, a vivid reimagining of his own family's shadowed past, forcing Jordan to confront the survival instincts etched into his lineage like scars on ancient bark. The script for Sinners, penned with a poet's eye for the grotesque beauty of endurance, struck Jordan like a thunderclap during pre-production. What hits me when I read the script, and I guess I knew it, was that the 30s wasn't kind to people that looked like us, he confessed, his voice steady but laced with the gravity of inherited grief. This wasn't abstract empathy, it was a visceral collision with history's unyielding boot. The Jim Crow era, that suffocating regime of segregation and sanctioned violence, wasn't a distant textbook chapter for Jordan. It was the crucible that forged his forebears. With roots tracing back to Hope, Arkansas, and Shreveport, Louisiana on his father's side, Jordan found himself sifting through family lore with renewed urgency. Grandparents and great-grandparents, once distant figures in sepia-toned anecdotes, materialized as flesh and blood warriors navigating a world rigged against their every breath. Filming on location amplified this epiphany, transforming the set into a portal to the past. Jordan described the click moment with poetic precision, the realization that his grandmother, a constant in his childhood as that eternal elder figure, was once a vibrant 20-year-old, her youth stolen by circumstance. She was 20 once. And it was like we made a movie about my grandparents and my great-grandparents and my cousins and what it was like for them, the circumstances of living in survival on a day-to-day basis. These words paint a tapestry of quiet heroism. Sharecroppers rising before dawn to till unforgiving soil, mothers rationing meager meals while whispering dreams deferred, children learning to code switch not for ambition but for bare existence. Sinners, in Jordan's hands, transcends genre, be it drama or thriller, becoming a familial elegy, a cinematic bridge spanning generations of unspoken fortitude. This reflection extended its tendrils to the women who shaped his immediate world, particularly the caretaker who stood in for his working parents during his formative Newark years. Jordan evoked her with tender specificity, the stern yet nurturing woman who enforced scripture readings, meditative silences, and the occasional switch for discipline, a thin branch wielded as both lesson and love. The woman that used to take care of me, who made me read scripture or sit down and meditate or go out there and get that switch, you know what I'm saying? It made me rethink the relationship I had with her while she was living. In her, Jordan now sees echoes of the Mississippi matriarchs from the script, resilient sentinels guarding fragile hopes against lynch mobs and economic strangleholds. It's a poignant reversal. The boy who once chafed under her guidance now honors her as a vessel of ancestral wisdom, her methods a microcosm of survival's harsh poetry. Jordan's career has long been a meditation on legacy, from channeling Adonis Creed's pugilistic inheritance to Chala's regal burden. But Sinners marks a pivot, infusing his process with genealogical depth. Raised in a middle-class bubble, his father a youth basketball program director, his mother a high school guidance counselor, Jordan's path to stardom via The Wire and Fruitvale Station was paved with privilege relative to his roots. Yet this project compelled a descent into the dirt. Conversations with elders unearthed tales of midnight migrations, hidden educations under threat of raids, and the unspoken pact to shield the young from history's fangs. Going down there to make this movie, he mused, I guess the thing that clicked was like she was 20 once. That single insight humanizes the abstract, reminding us that behind every statistic of disenfranchisement lies a pulse, a laugh stifled, a love kindled in secrecy. Expanding on this, Sinners itself emerges as a bold reclamation of Black Southern Gothic, a subgenre too often sanitized or sidelined. Directed with unflinching gaze, the film weaves vampiric folklore into the fabric of racial terror, positing the supernatural as metaphor for the everyday horrors of sundown towns and poll taxes. Jordan's character, a twin navigating fraternal bonds amid otherworldly predation, mirrors his real-life duality, the star who commands red carpets and the sun piecing together fractured narratives. In interviews he speaks of on-set rituals, poring over faded photos, sharing gumbo-fueled stories with castmates, that blurred real and real. This immersion wasn't mere method acting, it was therapeutic excavation, unearthing resilience as both burden and balm. Jordan's broader oeuvre amplifies this theme. Creed trilogy grapples with paternal shadows, Black Panther with communal duty. Now, Sinners personalizes it, inviting audiences to trace their own veins back to origin points of pain and perseverance. He envisions the film sparking dialogues in living rooms, where elders finally voice the unvoiced, and youth grasp the cost of their freedoms. Living in survival on a day-to-day basis. That phrase encapsulates not just 1930s Mississippi but the perpetual vigilance demanded of Black Americans, from redlining's ghosts to modern profiling.